Transfer function is for the same system, but by considering what kind of control.
So this here, the first thing was open loop. This was without a state feedback controller.
Yes.
And now I did this closed loop function and put in the same thing and should get this as our. Okay? And we only have this as our issue. So we already know the parameter sensitivity is regarding J. This is the only parameter in there anyways. And it only will do this little thing here. And if you really look at it, it's two different things going on. One is our state feedback controller that works up until our bandwidth. That's because up until here, everything is correct, right? This bandwidth we choose, we don't have phase at all, we don't have magnitude at all. And above that, we don't really get phase issues, we get a little bit of magnitude issues. And that depends on your parameter estimation. So the cool thing is, so there's multiple cool things. That's, first of all, that's great, right? What does this signal look like? If you have noise in your state, right? We measure this here. And let's say there's noise in there. Do you see this on this signal? Is the estimated state, does this still contain the noise of this signal here?
No.
It filters it with a PT1, right? So actually for this here, it only looks like a PT1. But up here, so this is what your state feedback control makes through, and up here it's your feed forward. So the feed forward does not contain this noise. Or it shouldn't, but if at all, it's only what you have in this control. But not as much as in your actual magnetic state. Also, you will see that your feed forward gets way more cleaner once you do this, and then it doesn't really contain any noise anymore. So it's like a filter that a lot of people put on their signal, a filter anyways, but they always get their phase and magnitude issue, which we don't. This is a filter, but it also doesn't have lag or lead. So it's a lag lead with zero lag lead filter with no differentiation. And it also gives you certain more attributes that we can talk about. Yeah.
So this how do we get BAs? Your reservoir PI controller. So
How do we get the gains?
BA term.
Same as before, right? The map, try to do the map, and where does it break? Oh, I actually forgot. In this case, I actually forgot. Oh, sorry. This whole map, sorry, that was my bad. Sorry. Good catch. This was a BA. And I did the whole map for VA. You're absolutely right. If I do KT plus KS, it will actually look like this. You're absolutely right. Oh, good catch. So this was for VA, and if we use KT plus KS, it will be this. And then we do the same thing as before with our gains, right? So you can tune it as your controller of your system, you can control it faster. For instance, if you really need perfect magnitude to a high degree here, then your bandwidth up there, it doesn't have to be 300. You can do it to 3 kilohertz, but then you still have your noise in here, right? It's basically weighing. Do you want more, do you want a better signal or and you will see this in dynamic stiffness actually. This also degrades your dynamic stiffness by a bit. You will see this in your homework. And if you increase this, your dynamic stiffness goes up because the estimate gets basically better, but your filtering goes down. So you can basically weigh between filtering and dynamic stiffness with this, with these eigenvalues. And the way you do this is the same as the noise system. So the method is again the same one. And now you can weigh your eigenvalues. Okay, filtering, dynamic stiffness. Okay.
So in observer we always have feed forward feedback, right? Feed forward control.
Yeah, if you don't have it, it's just a PT1 filter. Right? If you get rid of this, this will basically look like a PT1. That's all it does.
And this is not reference here.
Sorry? This is not the reference, this is your measured state. So this is like a normal PI control that looks like a PT1, right? It breaks at some point. And only the feed forward makes sure it doesn't. So if you get rid of it, it's a PT1. If you have it, it's an observer. Or it's a filter and an estimator versus an observer.
So what we are basically trying to do here, if this is not a reference. So we
This here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we make sure that all the error that is in here, we get rid of it. The state feedback only makes sure that wrong parameters, disturbances, and all of that we can get rid of.
Okay.
Right? The open loop looks the same. The open loop has this issue everywhere. This here has this issue only above the band.
And what do we do with the omega kappa?
What do we do with this? What do you want to do with it? Is it a better state?
It's basically we are measuring the state, but we are removing the noises.
Exactly. And I want to get to why we're doing this. So, first of all, do you think people would ever use this signal directly into their control?
No, this is not.
There's usually a filter, right?
Yeah, this should be.
And the filter has this red attributes.
Yeah, yeah.
So don't you think it would be better to have the white attributes instead of the red? Yes.
Definitely, yes.
So if you have information about your system, you should always use a Lumenberg observer instead of the PT1. It just makes your signal way better behaved. Okay? So that's the first one to take home. Another one is, what is this signal here? What's the information of this signal?
It's a theta. It's angle.
No. This is that. This is acceleration, right? It's acceleration. So now we actually have information of acceleration. You could actually, and nobody builds an accelerometer. I don't know if I said it correctly, but nobody really measures acceleration. Some people do measure acceleration, but if you don't, you could actually now use your speed information with the observer and actually have a signal of acceleration. You could give this a feedback. What would that do? What would this do? You could do this now. In real life you can't do this because you have to differentiate the signal that has noise. You cannot do this. But now you didn't use differentiation, you still have the differentiation. Make sense? We never use differentiation, but we still have this information now. And we give it a gain. Let's call it X because I don't want to spoil what it is. What would that do?
So if we do like that, and then how fast is the observer that we need?
What is this in physical meaning?
That's inertia.
That's inertia. That's a virtual inertia. We make our system seem like it has more inertia. Could be a good idea, but it's also a lot of force that you're asking for. So this could maybe be not possible for a system, but you can do it. This is a virtual inertia.
So we basically additionally act, it will virtually add some loads on the control or something, I don't know, like it was going to affect the control.
This is going to affect the control, obviously, yes. In your dynamic stiffness, before we could only move these two lines up and down, right? Now we can move this. Because it's just J times S, right? We effectively make it bigger. In dynamic stiffness, this here was J times S. And we make it basically J plus JV times S. So this can help. It also can help to move resonant frequencies in your system away. For instance, mechanical resonances very often depend on the inertia. You can actually move these if you want to with this. There's a couple of things you can do with this, but I actually wanted to look at something else that we could also do. And for this, do you have all of this? Yes. Okay. So think about what if I don't have the speed information, but only the angle information. How would our system look like? And is it still easy to control? speed measurement, right? We have a back loop here into this, and we control everything nicely. Let's assume we don't have this anymore. Let's assume we only have an angle information. Do you think we can control it the same way? Is it the problem?
We can use state of to filter out noises and then we can use it.
Right, but what I'm saying is, can you do this? Is this an issue?
No, we need to have the derivative of the angle
Why is that?
to get the speed.
Right, but you could create correct references that do this, right? If you have a reference and make it correct, that it also makes the right speed. I'm saying, is this here an issue? Oops. Is this an issue? Have you ever seen two integrators next to one another without state feedback? And what that does? That's a resonator. These are two eigenvalues within one another at the origin. This is a classic resonator example. You cannot control this with theta. You can try, but you will see that this will be an issue. That's when people start to use differentiation in their control to make sure that this doesn't happen. So they try to have a D controller here, and then you have D, and that's a problem. So what we would like to have is this information rather, right? And then you try to do a differentiation, and you have the same problem again. Okay, but we learn how to do a differentiation without doing differentiation. We do an observer. But we have the same problem in the observer, don't we? So if we now use the theta information instead of the omega information, we have this resonator here as well, right? This observer will resonate the same way. And this is where the advanced or enhanced Bloomberg cell observer comes into play. And it's a really neat information. You only can do this in math. There's no way to do this in really in real life. Say we have a KP gain here, right? And you have a K over S. Sorry, cannot see this right now. But this is RPI control, so that's fine. So we have access to all of this. This is a mathematical model, right? So I also have access to this point, if I want to. So what happens if I do this? And actually, I'll just do it usually the other way around. This effectively bypasses the integration, right? So if I look at what this would have been here, it would have been the differentiation. But if I put it behind the integrator, it is still differentiation, but I never use the differentiator. You can't do this in the actual real life system. You can't just put something on top of your speed because you don't have access to it, but in a mathematical model you can. And let's look what this does. We can play around with the math here next show. I'll just already give you the closed loop function, but we do the same thing as we did before with the other observer. We go basically through every step and replace everything with omegas and omegas. This would be that would be theta. I don't know if I solved theta or omega. But the transfer function will be the same, just somewhere in S differently. But it will be JS3, and I call this KB times squared plus KP times S plus KI. Okay? So what we did is, and you can also build a PID control, and you will see it will be the same. Problem is just you use the D. But it looks the same. You now have this portion here. Before we had an S to the 3 and the next was an S, which means there's 2 poles happening between the 2 of them. It breaks twice, but at the same position, so that's a resonator. And we now added this term in the middle. We effectively put damping in, or a differentiation portion in our control, but we never did differentiation. And now we have a speed estimate that we can again use for a speed control. Not the theta information anymore, because that makes us just control the resonator. We now have access at this. We actually use the estimated state, and not the angle anymore. Okay? And if we want angle on top of it, like if we want to create more references, we also have the information of the angle, we have the information of the acceleration, and we never put a sensor for speed, for acceleration, we only have an angle as information. Is this clear? Should we talk about it?
Yes, once more please.
It's confusing?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we do? And sorry about these little fails here. So this is still J, right? And I just swapped them around if you saw what I did. I swapped them around, so I could also keep it the way and then I'd have the J in here as well. But I just tried that this is actually directly a differentiation of this. So this here is the same as doing this. Mathematically, this and this is equivalent. You can do the math and play around with it, but if you put this left of an integration, this is a differentiation, right? But I never want to use differentiation for the reason that we mentioned now often enough. So I do the same as the PID controller, but I never do differentiation. That's the only idea of this. And it provides sampling for the state. Okay? And this is what we call a Lumberg observer. A Lumberg style observer uses an outer state to observe or estimate inner states, right? We have this outer state of theta, and now we can estimate also the speed, also the acceleration, and even one more thing that's really neat, but this really doesn't work with the enhanced Lumberg observer all that well. So without the enhanced Lumberg observer, right, we have this here as our torque state feedback. This is basically what our feedback controller creates as a state feedback, right? And what do you think this information represents when you don't have parameter errors, or very little? What will that be? what will be the value of this? If you look at our equation up there, right? We have exactly this, we also have all of this. What will the value of this be if we already provide the correct feedforward? What's the only difference in this system of this system and this system? What's the only difference? No, we give. Let's assume we have access to this, right? And we have the same model, and we make the track. If this is already correct and these are correct, then the speed already matches the speed, right? And then this will be 0. But if it's not 0, what does it mean? What do we have in our system then?
We have the disturbance.
Disturbance. And what will this value be there?
It's only
Mathematically.
one digit.
It will be exactly the disturbance. That's the only difference, right? If this already yields the correct speed, if not, this will be exactly the disturbance value because it's literally happening at this point.
So cancel it.
It doesn't cancel just yet, but the value of it is this. If I put this out there, this information here, and this is only without the enhanced numeric observer because this all is in there as well now. But if we have the normal numeric observer, this is negative TL. This has Ewing properties though, because this all tracks this very well, but the disturbance we only have an estimate. It's not observed related, but we have an estimation of our disturbance. We could not do DID, for instance, with it, or whatever you think is good. If it's a good information to have, sometimes it can really help you. If you know already the disturbance, you can maybe tell what operating point are you at, or you could, in field-oriented control, you know where your field now is, or what people also do is they provide the system on purpose with less information. For instance, they leave out back EMF in a machine. Think about what this does. You leave out the information of back EMF in your current observer. What will be the value of your state feedback then? It will be exactly the back EMF. And what information is in your back EMF? It's flux times speed, right? So your Lundberg observer becomes an observer for speed without ever putting in a speed controller, speed sensor. That's how sensorless control works. It uses an observer, doesn't give it any information of speed or back EMF, and it automatically estimates the back EMF, and you can basically get the speed information out of it. A very neat trick to do sensorless control. That's how they call it sensorless. You technically still have current sensors, but there's not a speed sensor on the machine. And you still have speed information. This obviously doesn't work as well if the speed is very slow because this back EMF signal becomes very, very tiny, and then the information isn't really very good, right? That's usually why the sensorless controls don't work very well at low speeds, because the information is so poor. But at high speeds, they work very well. Okay, that was maybe a little overloading. So I give you a little bit of time to think about this. Maybe if there's something unclear, we still have it on the board. But in essence, really, what we have to boil it down to, the Lundberg observer, all that it is we have a model of the plant. We have the actual plant. We have the state, right? Let's call it X. Well, let's call it Y. Y, the input X, whatever you want to call it. And we supply it with the same input. Then we have an estimate of this. And build a controller on it. That's really in essence what our Lundberg style observer is doing. We just provided the input that we know we have to put the input out there anyways. We provide just as a feed forward, and the rest is just a controller. And we have to design this control anyways because we're doing for the system anyways, right? We know the system well, and if we model it anyways.
What is that? COMP?
Controller. It's our controller. You can do many different kind of controls, right? We know why we use PI now, and we have an example why we might use a differentiation as well, but not using actual differentiation. But that's what the Lundberg style observability is. You know how to model a plant, you know how to control a plant. So just using the structure makes a lot of sense, and you should be able to do this anyways. And you are already doing it. Okay? So that was the Lundberg observer, or Lundberg style observer. A classic Lundberg observer looks a little bit different, but it is essentially the same thing. And again, so it helps us to estimate states, internal states, but we need the outer states. So now, if we know that, we might be also interested in how do we build an observer that uses inner states and estimate outer states. That would be cool too, right? So maybe you have the speed, or you have the information of current, and you want to know the speed. I mean, there's once the trick for sensorless control, but there's also other observers that can do this. And the real classical example of this is the GoPanel style observer. And I just want to do it for the same example. Okay, the GoPanel style observer is meant to use inner states to estimate outer states. And let's use our example of the cascade control. And this DQ, I'll just use the simplified version. It's the same map. Okay, so that's our system. Let's build an observer for this GoPanel style observer. So first estimate the inner state and try to basically mimic it and also find correction for it. And these are usually a little bit more complicated. We look through what they do, but they're a little bit harder to design. Really, but we should have had a look at them at least once. And what they do. Should be the same. Usually I try to turn these around and put the J out so I don't mess this up. But I think this should be the same.
Michael?
Yep.
What is that? KP and then upper one?
Ki, Kp, this is the estimate of this,
Oh,
of the flux basically, on the torque equation. And again, we like to implement damping. In this case, so we're not using the state here to control, you don't have to put in the damping. And this little contraption that looks way harder than the Bloomberg style observer really will have interesting properties. It won't look as good as the Bloomberg observer, but it provides still zero lag lead, but it has some magnitude issues. And you can go through the algebra yourself, and you will see that you should wind up an equation like this. Many ways to do this format. It looks a little weird, but this essentially should be roughly 1, right? This should be almost the same as this. This here, plus this here, this term and this term are the same, but this left one is multiplied by this. So if L and R are also perfect, these two cancel one another. If not, at some points, they differentiate a little bit, and even at low frequencies, where this dominates, and this should be roughly also, we always have these parameters. So we can't really get rid K2 is that? K2, sorry, K2, K2 was KP, sorry.
So it's only P controller again.
This is for 1P control, correct? And if we now add damping and the Ki and the Kp, this equation will look a little bit different. So this is just with P control, or just with KP. And so actually only did it for KP and KI, and then we didn't look at it. So with KP and KI, it should look like this.